See, the core idea, and I believe that I am a part of the problem when a lot of, conversations I do about fire is because I did it very early. So I pulled the plug when I was around 40.
Okay.
So at to be able to, sort of fire at 40, plenty of things worked out for me. I have been extremely lucky. My parents were never dependent on me for anything. So as I said, they're close to 80, but they are still not dependent on me because they were government employees. They have government pensions coming in and they have very little expenses and they can live off that. Secondly, what happened was my wife is well educated. She's a CA, so she had a career of her own. Third was that I had a kid very late in life. So
Can I ask when?
I had a kid in 2020, so I was 37. So I had a kid very late in life. I started a business and that business worked really well. Then the business itself got acquired by Unacademy. So these 5 things which happened, it's extremely difficult for some. So even if just couple of these things happen, they pull back, let's say, traditional retirement at 60. I would believe that any of these things shaves off 5 years of your work life. So because of all of these things, I was able to retire at 40 instead of, let's say, retire at 60. But you shouldn't really be looking at retiring at 40 or retiring at 45 or retiring at 35. Once you set that sort of an anchor, it can be a problem. You can feel that you are being left behind and what's the point of all this? What you should ideally be looking at is, okay, if I don't do anything, I will be forced to retire at 60. Can I do something and make that decision of my own? Even if you are doing it at 59, you're still saving 1 year. Even if you are doing it at 58, you are saving 2 years. If you retire early, so 58 is earlier than 60, 52 is earlier than 60. So even if you are retiring in your early 50s, that is still an early retirement.
Can I jump in here? But yeah, I don't see how age is relevant here, in the sense that, I mean, even if you're 60, but if you don't have enough purpose, like if you don't have enough money to live the life you're currently leading at 59, 60, whatever that is, then you still have to continue working, right?
You will be forced to retire. In most of the companies, they have a retirement age. It's no longer an option. They end up, a lot of these private companies and a lot of these government organizations, they'll force you to. So some will have a retirement age set at 60, some will have a retirement age set at 62, some will have a retirement age set at 65.
Okay.
So it is not longer your decision in many cases to pull the plug.
Okay.
However, if you plan, so there are small little things. So you get lucky in one of these 5 aspects, that your parents are not dependent on you, you have a wife who's working, you have a kid late, you start a business that works, your business gets acquired. I don't think any of these are in your control. So
again, I'd like to push back there in the sense that I feel like you mentioned 5 factors, but I feel the only relevant factor is your business getting acquired. I feel like even if your benefit...
not really. So I don't know how many times I need to say this. My business getting acquired was, I would say it was an important factor, but out of the 5 things that I mentioned, it was probably the 5th most important factor. I didn't get that much of money in the acquisition. So most of the money that I made. So if you look at it purely from a monetary perspective, I think the biggest thing was that I had a business which worked. And sometimes I like to pretend it was talent, but it was mostly luck. I got lucky that I started working in online education in 2008. I started making educational videos in 2008. No one was doing that at that point of time.
Except for Salman Khan Academy.
Salman Khan Academy was, but let me say that very few people were doing it in 2008. I started an online education edtech business in late 2012. No one was doing it at that point of time. So however bad or shitty job I did, but because there were very few options, if not the only option that was available, that helped. So I caught the trend early. And that is what has helped me. And so whether I was good at it or bad at it is a separate decision of that business, but the timing, that worked out.